Hey guys, Fancy Melissa here. I'm going to show you how I went ahead and put together this super cute Frankenstein box, little mini treat bag. So we're going to go ahead and show you all the pieces for it. Now everything I did to create this box, I used my Cricut cartridge. So I used the Art Philosophy Cricut cartridge from Close to My Heart, and I used several different images from this cartridge. So I'm going to try to quickly go through here and show you on the keypad here the different images. So for the eyes, we just use the circles. So we use the circles a couple different times. For the nose, we're using this tab key right here. And then for the bracket, and that's going to be the bracket that you're going to use for the face, for the back, and also for the hair, I used this square right here. So that's going to be square 1, 2, 3, 4 for that bracket. All the measurements for those will be on my website at fancymelissa.com, and you'll also be able to get exactly the different papers and that kind of thing that I used for it. For the box, and that's what is kind of on the inside here, I used one of our three-dimensional boxes, and that is actually the font layer. So it's font layer shift, and it's 1, 2, 3. It's font layer, and it's the third button from the left-hand side to create the box. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you the different pieces. All right, so you've got here the box that I've already cut out, and you're going to set that at, you can do either fill to page or 6.5. That's what I cut it at. And I'm going to go ahead and just trim off the handles. Okay, super simple. Just actually will fly right off for you. So just trim off those handles, and then when you cut this, you will see very clearly that there are score lines. There are score lines there for you to use to help you see where exactly to fold your box. So you just go ahead and fold at those score lines. Okay, and then there's one right here for your tab to help it hold together. And then you've got your bottom pieces that you're going to go ahead and fold. So you're just going to go ahead and fold all those. See how simple they fold for you? I don't even have a bone folder here. You might want to use that just to make sure they're nice and tight folds. Okay. Now what I have found is you can use like a bonding, like a power bond tape or terrifically tacky tape, that really good red tape. I of course don't have it here as I'm trying to do this for you on a Sunday, but what I've also really found has worked well for me is just doing a well-placed brad. And for these boxes, it's going to be right here on that flap. So see where that tab is right there? I'm just going to go ahead and put a brad right there at the top. And you know, it's not going to hold the whole box together. Clearly we've got to do something here on the bottom, but it's really going to keep it sturdy. And that's just, again, like kind of one well-hinged brad on these projects are really going to kind of make it stay together nicely. I'll put a little bit of adhesive down here on the bottom, but if we're putting something heavy in here, you might want to either try to get another brad to sit down there on the bottom, or you know, make sure you get some power bond tape, or even liquid glass if you've got some time to let that dry. Go ahead and throw some liquid glass on there. Okay, so there is my box, easy peasy, all put together. So we're going to set that aside because this is really going to be the base, and then we're going to go ahead and create the face and then just put it right on there. Okay, so I've got my bracket cut just at 4 inches, and what I did was I just measured my box. If you want to do a smaller box, just measure the width of it, and then that should be, maybe give yourself a 1/2 inch leeway on either side, and that's what size you want to cut that bracket. Alright, so I've got my my bracket. Now I'm going to create the hair using the purple bracket that I've cut, and I used Gypsy here. And I just did, you know, I like to kind of sketch it out to see how it's going to look, but I like some kind of long pieces so it comes down onto his eyes. So quick sketch that out with a pencil, and then just quickly cut it with your scissors. You're going to be able to get two of these out of one piece of purple. So that's kind of fun that you don't need to use 2 of these for each project. You just save it, recycle, and then do another one. So you're just going to go ahead and And then on the opposite side, this is where you want to go ahead and grab your ink and your sponge and just go ahead and ink the edges of that. It's going to give it some definition, a little bit of spookiness to it. All right, so you're just going to go ahead and do that. And then that's going to sit right here on your bracket because you've cut them at the same size, both at 4 inches. And so I'll go ahead and tape that on. I just did one piece because you know what, I want to kind of sit those eyeballs up underneath there. So I've got that. Then my green olive cardstock that I cut at 1 inch, I'm just going to fold that in half and cut that in half. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that in half, and that's going to make my eyelids. And then I want to also grab my little black eyeballs. And then you're just going to go ahead and grab your white cardstock and adhere these to that. This one kind of got cut off, so I'm just going to cover that up. My other one. And keep taping those on wrong. Okay, so fit that on there. Get your eyeballs. Pop that in there. You'll notice my eyeballs are not actually circles because I have one of those new Cricut expressions that is not cutting circles properly, so we'll have to figure out what we're doing with that. Okay, so those are going to tuck in here. Let's go ahead and just trim that off a little bit. And you know what makes everything a little bit better and seem, you know, like it's exactly cut right is a little bit of ink. So grab a little ink and tap that along the edges. Don't need too much. A little bit of ink. Okay, and then you want to grab your tab. This is going to be our nose, and we'll just go ahead and ink that. And then we'll just sort of see how that's going to fit in there. So see how that's working out for us. And grab a little tape. A little bit more. So this would be a great project to do, you know, even at like a kid's, like a school project, like if you were, you know, classroom mom and you needed to come up with a fun project, this would be really fun and easy. If you had all the pieces cut, your students would really be able to put this together pretty simply. All right, so we're just going to grab a Sharpie. Mine is not the best Sharpie right now, but just do a little bit of a squiggly mouth. Don't need to get too fancy up in there because he's obviously Frankenstein. And then a little bit more ink all around the edges of my bracket. And then I pull my box back down. So for my box, what I'm going to do, I think the easiest way that this is going to adhere is going to be with 3D foam tape. So look, close to my heart 3D foam tape, you just rip it and put it on so you have exactly the size you want. Love that. Don't bother with cutting it with scissors. You're going to just goop up your scissors, your really good microtip close to my heart scissors. Don't goop them up, just rip that tape. Okay? So here we go. Just tape that on. Get my other bracket. You're going to want to ink up that other bracket, but just for sake of time, again, throw on some foam tape there. Just rip it to the size. It rips really easily. And then go ahead and pop on your other bracket. You might want to make sure it's kind of in the same place so it's going to sit up nicely. Okay, so there you go. Final touch. Just cut a piece of half-inch piece of cardstock. I use the green here, but you could use the purple or white or whatever. Easiest thing to do here is just push it down in your box so it fits. You know, you just use a whole 12-inch piece. It's fine if there's a little bit extra in there. And then you can kind of pull it up so you get it to the width, to the length that you want, the height that you want, rather than cutting a piece and then not being sure. This way you're pretty positive. And again, we're going to go ahead and grab our brads and just brad it on. You know, you could probably use a, you could even really use a stapler here since we're doing Frankenstein. You know, stapler might be kind of appropriate, but I'm just going to throw a couple brads in there. Easy peasy. Try not to stab myself with it. And that's going to do it. So this is the Cricut Art Philosophy cartridge from Close to My Heart. All used to do this project. And you know what? If you don't have the bundle yet, you need to get it. So I'll help you. Send me an email, get you hooked up, or you can shop at closetomyheart.com/fancymelissa. Thanks for tuning in.